She's one of the most recognizable symbols in the world, the Statue of Liberty, torch in hand, lighting the way for generations of immigrants who arrived in search of a better life. We love to say she welcomed everyone. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. But here's the twist. That poem wasn't even part of her original story, and the truth behind Lady Liberty is far more complicated and far more human than the myth we tell. So let's bust one of America's favorite feel-good legends, that the Statue of Liberty welcomed all immigrants equally. The Statue of Liberty wasn't originally about immigration at all. It was a gift from France, a celebration of liberty, democracy, and friendship between nations after the Civil War. French sculptor Frédéric-Auguste Bartholdi designed her as a universal symbol of freedom, not a monument to Ellis Island or migration. In fact, when she was unveiled in 1886, Ellis Island didn't even exist yet. The statue stood in New York Harbor, yes, but she was facing out toward Europe. To many Americans, she wasn't saying, "Welcome." She was saying, "Look what freedom looks like." It wasn't until decades later that she became tied to the story of immigration. When the statue was dedicated, the US was already struggling with who belonged and who didn't. Immigration was booming. Between 1880 and 1920, more than 23 million people arrived, mostly from Southern and Eastern Europe. It was the largest wave in American history. But the welcome was not the same for everyone. If you came from Britain, Germany, or Scandinavia, you were often called good stock. But Italians, Jews, Poles, Greeks, they faced hostility, slurs, and laws designed to keep them out. And just 4 years before the Statue of Liberty was completed, the United States passed the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, the first major federal law banning an entire group of people based solely on race and nationality. So when Lady Liberty lifted her torch in 1886, that light didn't shine equally on everyone. That famous poem, "Give me your tired, your poor," wasn't originally part of the statue. It was written by Emma Lazarus, a Jewish poet and activist, in 1883 to raise money for the pedestal's construction. Lazarus saw something the original designers didn't. For her, the statue wasn't just a gift between nations, it was a promise to the world's oppressed. Her words redefined the statue's meaning, turning it from a symbol of abstract liberty into one of refuge. But here's the catch. The poem wasn't engraved on the statue until 1903, 20 years later. So for nearly 2 decades, Lady Liberty stood in the harbor, silent. The idea that she was welcoming immigrants was something Americans learned to believe, not something she was built to represent. 6 years after the statue's dedication, Ellis Island opened its doors, not as a grand welcome center, but as a checkpoint. Immigrants were tested, questioned, and sometimes detained for days or weeks. Doctors inspected their eyes for disease, officers judged their literacy and moral character. About 2% were sent back, which sounds small, but when you're talking about millions of arrivals, that's thousands of families torn apart. And while European immigrants faced scrutiny, others faced total exclusion. Asian immigrants were barred. Africans faced impossible restrictions. And Native Americans, the continent's first inhabitants, weren't even recognized as US citizens until 1924. So when we say liberty welcomed all, we're really talking about a selective invitation. Over time, Lady Liberty's meaning evolved, and that's what makes her powerful. During the early 1900s, she became the backdrop for countless arrivals, the first thing people saw when they reached America. During World War II, she symbolized freedom against tyranny. During the Civil Rights era, she was used as a metaphor for justice delayed. And today, she's still invoked in debates about immigration, equality, and belonging. Emma Lazarus's words finally became the heart of the statue's identity, even if the reality behind them took generations to catch up. So, did the Statue of Liberty welcome all immigrants equally? Number. But she became the symbol of what America could be. The truth is, the Statue of Liberty wasn't born a beacon for the tired and the poor. We made her that way. She reflects not just who we were, but who we wanted to become. Because history isn't about perfection. it's about progress. And sometimes, the myths we tell remind us of the promises we're still trying to keep.